Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. We welcome you to our online teaching academy Ekalaiva. Yesterday we started our new lesson in civics. Yesterday we discussed about India's foreign policy. Under that we discussed about NAM and all. Today we are going to discuss about India's foreign policy during Cold War era. Yesterday we discussed about NAM, the non-alignment. The non-alignment route did not prevent India from entering into an alignment with the Soviet Union. Then India embarked on a substantial program of military modernization. So in 1974, India also conducted its first nuclear test at Pokhran in response to China's nuclear test in 1964 at Loknak. India got her political freedom in the aftermath of a disastrous Second World War, and India had to be redeemed from poverty, illiteracy, and socio-economic conditions. Hence, our new nation could not afford to military entanglements and military alliances. Independent India had to defend its democratic system. India withstood two wars with Pakistan during this period. This disastrous Sino-Indian conflict would not make non-alliance, and it revealed inadequacy in military buildup. Even without discarding the non-alliance, India could enormously strengthen her defense system and could become a nuclear power. Now we are going to discuss about the new developments in the 1990s and the 20th century. During the 1990s, along with the fall of the Soviet Union, a new global economic order, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization, emerged with the support of the Western powers. India's policy manifested in various ways, such as better relations with China, the Look East policy 1992, the second nuclear test at Pokhran in the year 1998 in Rajasthan, defense procurement, obtaining military supplies, relationship with Israel, energy diplomacy with Arab countries and Iran, agreeing to US nuclear missile defense program, and India's vote against Iran at the International Atomic Energy Agency. Now we are going to discuss about India in the resurgent 21st century. The structure of the international system has changed. The foremost task of India's foreign policy is to enable the domestic transformation of India. By this we mean making possible the transformation of India's economy and society. At present, our foreign policy acts as a means to generate inward investment, business and technology for domestic growth and development. India has adjusted to meet the needs of intensified economic engagement with the world, which is designed to meet the needs of an increased inflow of capital, technology, ideas, and innovation for our development and our re-emergence as one of the world's leading economies. India engages with current global subjects and articulates its international policies in order to gain a prominent place and make its presence felt in on a global scale. It has joined new global groups like the Group of 20, that is G20, India, Brazil, South Africa, that is IBSA, and Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, called BRICS, which gives more scope for India to play a large role in global affairs. So India's global security concerns are reflected in its military modernization, maritime security, and nuclear policies. India has emerged as a major voice in global decision making and management. The response of our policymakers at economic, political, and strategic level have enabled India to emerge as a potential great power, though it faces enormous developmental changes. So these challenges include sustaining the country's economic growth rate, ensuring energy and security, non-military issues like climate change, energy security, competition for scarce resources, food and water security, pandemics, and migration. Though numerous and formidable, these challenges are not beyond the reach of India's policy establishment. Now we are going to discuss about the basic concepts of India's foreign policy, preservation of national interests, achievement of world peace, disarmament, fostering cordial relationships with other countries, solving conflicts by peaceful means, independence of thought and action as per the principle of NAM, equality in conducting international relations. Now we are going to discuss about the policy of disarmament. Disarmament means to give up weapons. As a peace-loving nation, India champions the cause of qualitative and quantitative disarmament right from the beginning. Indian nuclear program in 1974 and 1998 is only done for strategic purposes. The two themes of India's nuclear doctrine are no first use, credible minimum deterrence. So it has decided not to use nuclear power for offensive purposes and would never use against any non-nuclear state. Now next we are going to discuss about SARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So this is the expansion of SARC. SARC is an economic and geopolitical organization of 8 countries that are primarily located in South Asia. The SARC policies aim to promote welfare economics, collective self-reliance among the countries of South Asia, and to accelerate socio-cultural development in the region. SARC Disaster Management Center was set up at New Delhi. The member countries of SARC are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Maldives, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. The SARC policies it aimed to promote welfare economics, collective self-reliance among the countries of the South Asia, and to accelerate socio-cultural development in the region. Now we are going to discuss about change and continuity in India's foreign policy. Under that, we are going to discuss about various topics. First one, prioritizing an integrated neighborhood. That is neighborhood first policy. India's foreign policy has always regarded the concept of neighborhood as one of widening concentric circles around the central axis of historical and cultural commonalities. India gives political and diplomatic priority to her immediate neighbors and the Indian Ocean island states such as Maldives. India provides neighbors with support as needed in the form of resources, equipment and training. Greater connectivity and integration is provided so as to improve the free flow of goods, people, energy, capital and information. Next one, bridging diplomacy and development. One of the major objectives of India's foreign policy has been to leverage international partnership for India's domestic development. This includes improving technological access, sourcing capital, gaining market access, and securing natural resources. Next, third one, gradual transition from look east to act east policy. So Southeast Asia begins with Northeast India. Myanmar is our land bridge to the countries of Association of the Southeast Asian Nations, that is ASEAN ASEAN. The purpose is to ensure a stable and multipolar balance of power in the Indo-Pacific and to become an integral part of Asia. This policy emphasizes a more productive role for Asian and East Asian countries. The three big elements in our Eastern policy are stronger emphasis on physical connectivity, commercial and security related. Next one is economic development. Currently, India's political moves are being influenced by economic imperatives. Many nations are moving to forge better relationships with India. Accelerated, balanced, and inclusive economic development is India's primary goal. India achieves this by ensuring peace and security and by leveraging the nation's international partnership to obtain all that is needed to fuel economic development, markets, investments, technology, fair global governance, and a stable and fair environment conducive for growth. Next one, India as a leading power. India is a member of the G20, the East Asia Summit, and the BRICS coalition, a testament to its status as a large country with a fast-growing economy. India aspires for permanent membership on the UN Security Council. Now we are going to discuss about the difference between domestic policy and foreign policy. So domestic policy is the nation's plan for dealing issues within its own nation, whereas foreign policy is the nation's plan for dealing with other nations. So here, for example, if you take domestic affairs, social welfare, health care, education, civil rights, economic issues and social issues comes under domestic policy, whereas trade, diplomacy, defense, intelligence, global environment are the types of foreign policy. Today, India has formal diplomatic relations with most of the nations, besides being the world's second most populous country, largest democracy, and one of the fastest growing countries. New challenges forced India to adjust to new realities, even then basic framework of its foreign policy remained more or less the same. Okay, children, in this lesson we discussed about India's foreign policy. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you, children.